Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Prison Architect. This game I have played several times on the channel before, but if you haven't seen it before, then welcome to Prison Architect. It's a game about being an architect of a prison and also actually running the prison, which is a little bit more complicated than it sounds. I've got my workers doing something already. I'm going to show you exactly what they're up to. What they're currently doing is tearing down a bunch of these trees. The reason they're doing that is because we can actually sell the logs that they get from the trees by dumping them in the exports section. Then a truck will come along and pick all of those up and take them away and then obviously sell them, and I get some money. We also have our deliveries and garbage areas down here. I moved them from the default location, which was about here. And on top of that, I've taken a couple of grants. Now, grants are good ways to get money in the game. You can only take 2 at a time. But at the moment, we have the Basic Detention Center grant and the Administration Center grant, and that means that for a Basic Detention Center, we need holding cell, shower, yard, kitchen, canteen, 2 guards, and 2 cooks. The Administration Center needs 2 offices, a warden. We need to then unlock financial through bureaucracy, we'll explain that later, and then hire an accountant. So, that might all sound a little bit daunting if you've never played this game. We're going to assume that you have played this game, because it keeps things nice and simple. But today, well, we're focusing on planning today, which apparently is, that was my my test planning from earlier. I was just testing out the recording, making sure everything's okay, and just acquainting myself with planning again. We're going to build something very similar to that, but we'll do it nice and quickly. So, what I would like to do is put a couple of bits of wall just there and there. We're going to bring that down to that spot. And we are basically going to outline the garbage area, like so. And we're also going to outline the deliveries area, like so. I then want to go 4 meters to the top and 4 meters to the... I think I can do that. I think I can get away with putting the wall on the pathways as well. 4 meters to the bottom. Then in between those, I'm going to want to place some massive gates. So that way we're going to have a lot of security within these walls. And that's actually very important because prisoners get delivered to the deliveries area. Yes, it's actually that simple. So that's where prisoners are going to get delivered to. That way they are going to be between those 2 gates and those 3 gates. So getting out's not going to be too easy. It's not like they can suddenly make a run for it. So that's very good news. We're going to go ahead and start planning the rest of the prison though. So what I would like is to have some prisoner visitation space in, say, around here. So that way any guests to the prison can come down here, in here, and go to visitation rather than having to go through the rest of my prison, which is going to be all up here. Down this way, by garbage, I'm going to put all of my administration, also my power generator and my water pumps and anything I need down there, so offices and all of that stuff. So what we'll do off the bat is immediately come in here, get rid of those little bits, and I'd like to put a door just there. We're then going to go to walls. We'll go 6 meters. We'll go 6 meters. We'll come in like this. We'll do a gate there, and that's just going to be a little hallway for prisoners to go through, just adding a little bit of extra security. Then, in this space, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and then come across, say, 11. Why not? We'll come across 11, then we'll go down like this, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, so that needs to go to there. There we go. So that is actually going to be our reception space, which is where the prisoners are going to be searched as they come into the prison and then processed and all of that stuff. And actually looking at it, this space here is 12 across. Now, if I do 6 by 6 and 6 by 6, it does create a double wall there, which isn't necessarily something you want. So what I'm actually thinking I'm going to do is take this back a little bit, just like so, because offices, I believe, need to be 5 or 4 by 4 on the inside. I don't remember. Yeah, they do. So we can have 2 offices there. They're not going to link to reception, but this is in the area that I want all of my administration, so that's perfect. What we'll do is just create another little office space here, which is 6 by 6. We can have some stuff around here. Maybe the power plants and all that stuff can go back there, so we'll just create a little gap like that. Okay, so that's a pretty good use of space. We have 3 offices. I believe we can have a total of... We need 5 for the... Not the sniper, the warden. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 6 offices. Okay, we don't need those immediately. And that's something to keep in mind. We don't need to build all of this at once. Only the essential parts of it need built off the bat. So, off of this end of the reception, I'm going to build a holding cell. That way we can sort of easily process those that come in, and they don't have to go to a specific cell for that individual prisoner. So there's going to be a holding cell there. I'm also going to do a little shower at the back of it, so that the prisoners have somewhere to clean themselves off of the holding cell. And then this way, we're just going to do the main area of the prison. So I want the reception to come into a small corridor like this. So we'll have that kind of thing, and then a couple of doors there, a door there, and a door there. I don't know where this door is going to go. This might end up being just a wall for the time being. In fact, since I don't know where it's going to go, it will just be a wall. Now, the reason for the rest of this is that up this way, I want just a corridor. Something nice and simple, just a simple little corridor. In here, I'm going to do a yard. It's not going to be a huge yard, but it's going to be, well, it's a fairly big yard, I guess. We'll do a yard like this, and actually, what I could do is have a canteen at the end of it. So this will be the yard, this will be the canteen. We can actually have a little door into the canteen there. Then on this side, we can do our kitchen, which doesn't need to be too big because the prison initially isn't going to be all that big. Then the door for the kitchen is there. That's going to be staff only, of course, and that seems okay to me. And we can also have, say, a little entrance to the, is that, how far across is that? That is 10. So there is a, that's the middle. Okay, so that's the canteen, that's the kitchen, that's the yard, reception, holding cell, shower, office, 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 maintenance, I guess. So yeah, this kind of works. We'll put a door down there for our workers to get through. Then just do this as a little corridor there, I suppose. Okay, that's not so bad. Do a bunch of doors there for the offices, put a little door there for maintenance. And so far, so good. Okay, what we need now are some prison cells. So I think those can sort of be behind the holding cell. That's actually not a bad idea. Possibly. Possibly. Let's just duplicate the showers there. They are 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3. So that's fine. So we'll do door and door. Then have this hallway continue up like this and go across to there. So that's where the showers are for what's going to be our first cell block. I'm not entirely sure what way we're going to go with this cell block, because that is 15 across, and a cell needs to be exactly 2 by 3. So I could do horizontal cells. I said horizontal, really weird there. So I could do, if I do 5 and do that, then do 5 and do that. We have a weird space in the middle is the problem. Yeah, that doesn't actually work the way I wanted it to. Which is a shame. I guess what we could do is this kind of thing. We'll go for a bit of a spacious prison cell block thing. So that's 6. Let's do 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Then down the middle we'll do a wall. Just like that, to sort of split them up a little bit. That way they can't see into each other's cells. We'll get rid of that little bit so you can sort of walk around. And I suppose that's okay. So we'll do the doors for these ones like so. So that's going to be all of our cells. And that seems okay to me. It's a little bit big. It's a bit of a walk between the entrance and the cells, but I think that might be okay. Am I missing anything else? Now, I do need 2 guards, 2 cooks. We do need the offices and all that stuff. But I think we'll be okay. I'm also going to speed the game up a little bit so these guys can get on with the exports. There we go. $750 on exports is not bad. And I guess what we'll start doing is actually building things. And I think my exterior walls I want to be built out of concrete. So we're absolutely gonna go ahead and start grabbing all of these wall pieces. I know I said today would be about planning. This is still part of the planning. This isn't, you know, this isn't the mass of the construction and all the management and stuff like that. We're just doing the initial bits of construction for these areas. So that's gonna be concrete, and then that's gonna be concrete. That's gonna be concrete. Then I guess what we need to do is very carefully pick what's not going to be concrete. So that's going to be foundation and brick. That's a big reception area, isn't it? That's an unnecessarily big reception area. I think I want to shake that up a little bit. We'll do that after, though, because it does need to be all of this anyway, so that's going to be tricky. Okay, so that is the holding cell and shower there. This is our reception space, which needs all of that. And then we need the kitchen and the canteen and all that stuff. So that is the kitchen and the canteen. That's part of the hallway. That's a part of the hallway. That's a part of the hallway. Not the hallway, but that's part of the wall. This is a yard, so I'm going to just build that out of concrete, because it is just wall. And really, that's all we need, isn't it? So if we can get all of that built, we can nice and quickly go ahead and start adding in doors, start adding in interior walls, and it's going to be excellent. So while these guys are building, something I actually completely forgot about was prisoner intake. I'm actually going to close my prison for the time being, so that we can, you know, make sure to not bring in prisoners without actually having cells. What I will be doing with my intake, though, is always filling to capacity, and I'm only going to be bringing in minimum security prisoners for the time being. Because this prison, I want this to be nice and pleasant and nice. It's a rehabilitation center more than a prison, I suppose. So that's the way I'm going to work this particular place. I'm also going to go ahead and add some foundations to this area down here as well, just to get it out of the way, since we might as well just do this whole space. And it does look like I would probably have the money to do this space up here as well. So we'll fill out the entire prison whilst we're here, so that we can at least start planning for the future and getting everything else in here. Now, the construction obviously isn't done. We do have high priority on all of this stuff. I'll just make the priority even higher there. Well, that area wasn't set to high priority, but that's okay. We can get this all built, and then obviously it's not actually going to be constructed until I've added in some doors. So what I'd like to do, first and foremost, is add... Ooh, the road gates are bigger than I thought they were. Okay, well, that's my bad. We can actually make some adjustments here. So if I go to demolish walls, and we demolish you and you, we want to demolish you and you, then add in concrete wall to there and there, and do the same just there and there. Okay? Then demolish those bits of wall, and those bits of wall, and those bits of wall. Because then I want to just bring these out a little bit to just make sure it's nice and secure. So if we speed things up, those guys should get on with that job fairly quickly. This guy, I think, is going to be, yep. Is he tearing it down, or he is building it? Okay. There we go. So there's the new bit of wall going in. We've already destroyed the path there, which is ever so slightly annoying, but we can put it back eventually. Alright, so with them doing that, what I'd like to do is come in and place the road gates, which are a little bit expensive, but absolutely worth having. So we'll place a bunch of those down. And then we need to place some large jail doors. So we want one there. And that will actually consider the entire thing built. So that's our large jail door at the front of the building. Down here, I'm actually going to do a staff door. So we'll get that built as well. Alright, so this guy is, there we go, that's a gate in, looks fantastic if I do say so myself. I think they might, yeah, they're loading up the exports truck. So that's going to get me a bunch of money, which is $900, not complaining about that. Alright, I think they're prioritizing exports again. I can control and click to prioritize all of that stuff though. So there they go. That's them coming down to finish all the stuff we need them to finish. This door is going to be installed, which means this entire thing will then be considered a building. There we go. Only that section, apparently. Oh, no, there goes the rest of it. Alright, so we now have a whole bunch of building just there. building in a very strange way, but there we go. A whole bunch of building. I also have automatic lights turned off, which is a very good thing. Basically, they won't place lights for me, which I really like. I don't like it when it automatically places lights. It always looks a little bit strange. I'm not a big fan of it. So, good thing we have that off. What I'll do now is just go ahead and add in all of these concrete walls, which are a little bit expensive. But I'm not too worried. We can actually speed up time a little bit, let those guys go back to working on the trees and working on whatever they're working on. They might work on the walls. It looks like one of them is at least working the walls, so that's nice. We'll go ahead and add in all of these walls here as well. This section I'm going to leave unfinished for the time being. Okay, what I'd also like to do is control and prioritize all of that stuff, so that we can get the walls in and get the whole place finished. Alright, so while they're doing that, I'll also go ahead and start putting in all the doors. So, this is going to be a jail door. That's going to be a jail door. So are those. This is the canteen. I'm actually just going to do a door for it, because it is going to be minimum security, so we should be okay. That's going to be a staff door. Those are all done. This needs a large door. So does this. Do we already have a door there? I think we do. Yeah, we do. This needs a large door there. And these are all going to be built eventually. I might as well build them whilst we're here. So we'll put the doors in for those. Just a bunch of staff doors. Go to materials and do some brick walls just along there. Okay, I can promise you this isn't going to be the most beautiful looking prison you've ever seen. I haven't played Prison Architect in so long. I'm definitely feeling a little bit rusty. But fortunately, these guys are putting in all of the walls that we need, which is great news. So those are all coming in. We can, once they're done, start putting some lights in, start designating some rooms. And that will, once we get the basic detention center, give us $10,000, which would be very nice indeed. Okay, so that wall is gone. We have all of the rooms in by the looks of it. All the doors going in. I don't think I actually did. No, I did build that wall. Okay. Well, that looks to be everything, which makes me think those guys are now going back to, yeah, cutting down the trees. All right. Well, that gives me an opportunity to hire 2 guards, which I will absolutely do. So now the guards will manage doors and all that stuff. I can actually set some patrol routes for those guys later on. But for the meantime, let's start putting in some rooms. So this is going to be our holding cell. This is going to be a shower. This is also going to be a shower. Over here, we're going to have a canteen and then a kitchen. Okay. Then we're going to have 3 offices here. And this is going to be a reception. So the reception is there. So this is definitely a little bit big for a reception. I'm actually not too keen on it. I think what I'll do is have that be the size of the reception. Maybe go one further like that. Then we could, if we really wanted to, do a couple of offices here. Which is risky, but I feel like, honestly, it's probably the best way to get a couple more offices in here. In fact, I think those are too small, yeah. That'd be 1, 2, 3. So I would need to do it there. I think I'm gonna do it. I do. I think having a couple of offices there would be a good way to save space. It is dangerous, but, well, if anything, I guess I could use this as a corridor. That's always an option. Have the door to this office be here, have the door to this one be there. I think we'll do that instead so that the offices are still in their own area. So let's do some foundation there. And let me bulldoze that bit of wall. Or can I bulldoze that wall? Yes, I can. Okay. Let's go ahead and prioritize that stuff. There we go. And are they going to be putting up those walls? They are. Good, good, good. Let's get rid of that bit of room. And we also need to add in some doors. That's a thing we need to do, so that this little guy building them doesn't get stuck. So we'll add a door and add a door. Oh, that's not what I wanted. No, 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 don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Okay. So that's the entrance to that office. That's the entrance to that office. And there we go. So that's a couple more offices that have been built, which means we're now up to 5. We really only need 1 more as well, which is good news. So there we go. Let's add in that little bit of wall there. And we're pretty much good with that. Okay. This is good. We have our offices. We have... I mean, this is going to be unpleasant for whoever ends up working in this office, but this is still going to be our maintenance area. So we need some utilities. We need to add a power station, which we get for... Oh, they don't actually fit. All right, well, in that case, we'll build another area for them. So our utilities can go into this little space here, which I will add a... I suppose we'll add another staff door to them just to be safe. We'll add a staff door there, and hopefully get these guys to build it nice and quickly. Because then I can add in my power plant, I can add in my water pump, and I can get some lights about the prison. So where are they? They are apparently taking their time. There are a few things these guys are going to be queued to do. But at least they are building this nice and quickly. So we'll get this done any second. Come on, there we go. So that should now build itself. No, there's a little bit more to do. Is it done? No, what are you doing? Ah, there we go. Beautiful. So that's now built. That should technically be a different type of wall. So I am just going to go ahead and change that to make it match. In fact, can I just do brick wall there? Yes, I can. All right. That was nice and easy. So hopefully those guys will prioritize that and get it done. But for the meantime, I would like to add in my one free power plant and a water pumping station just there. We also get one free capacitor as well, which I will throw into that spot. And then prioritize those as well, so that they get built nice and quickly, so that we can start wiring up the prison. And whilst I'm waiting on those being done, let's go to objects, let's go to lights, and let's start lighting up all of these rooms. So we'll get all of our lights into the offices. We'll get some lights into the reception here. We'll get some lights into the holding cell and into the showers. Then into the hallways as well. These aren't going to be spaced out necessarily evenly, but they will be spaced out to give some pretty decent light to the prison nonetheless. Those are actually spaced out evenly, so that's nice. Let's light up the canteen as well. And we'll light up the kitchen. And then the offices are already being lit up as well. So we'll start adding some lights into the corridors, outside all of the office doors. Light up this space. And I reckon we could probably light up out here as well. Just add some outdoor lights to all of that. We'll do the same just out here to brighten up all of that space. And then the little corridor we have as the entrance. So hopefully we can see all of these lights get installed. There we go. Bit of power to the prison there. Add some lights to this room. Like so. And now I need to go to wiring. Okay, electrical cable. I'm going to run this straight through that wall. Down to there. Then underneath those, or under that part of the office. I also need to run it down to there. So if I do that, is that going to be enough to provide power to all of those lights? Hopefully. I'd also like to run it up through there to that point, then up that corridor. Then also down through those rooms. So hopefully that's going to be enough for all of that. Hopefully I can do a similar thing, just run a line up to there as well. Then possibly down through there as well. Okay. So that should, yeah, that is lighting up everything that I want it to light up, which is excellent news. So that's now working. We're probably going to want another capacitor. This thing is already a little bit overloaded, so we'll add 2 of those in. There we go. All right, so that's excellent news. I also realize I'm probably going to want to go to materials, go to brick wall, and add in a couple of little things like this, as well as a door, like that, and then some toilets, which need to go there and there for the holding cell. Then, of course, the holding cell is going to need... It doesn't have toilets and it doesn't have a bench. It does now have a bench, which could have actually went there rather than that spot, because I'd actually like to add some beds to the holding cell. We'll just add 3 of them. Then, of course, the shower is going to need some shower heads, so we'll just add a row of those. And a row of them there as well. And we're also going to want some drains underneath the doors. So that way the showers are going to be functioning quite nicely. I also reckon it might be worth my time to do a jail door there, there, and there whilst we're waiting to finish that area. Okay, so the holding cell's done. The shower will be done soon. Shower's done. We need a kitchen and a canteen. But first things first, let's go to utilities once again. Go to large pipe. And we need to connect this up through here. We're going to want to bring it across, then up through to there. So that's really as far as that's going to need to go. We're going to want to run some small pipes. I'll run them along here right away, even though we don't need them right now. Then I'll run some just like that as well. So that's going to pipe up that whole space. We are going to want some pipes to run into the kitchen as well. So I'll run these like that. Even though it's not very efficient, having a pipe going directly into the kitchen seems like a fairly good idea for the time being. So those should all get connected and work beautifully. The offices still aren't done. The yard still needs a bit of work, but we can designate it right away. So we go to yard and say that's our yard. The yard is now done. I would like to go to materials though, because I think I want some paving stones about the yard. So we'll outline the yard with these paving stones, just to keep it quite nice. We'll also do some paving stones there and there, and there and there. Just underneath all of these, because these did once have wall, and the wall may have destroyed the paving stones, making that look a little bit less pleasant. So we can upgrade all of that, and $1,000 in exports is not bad. I will absolutely take that. Let's high priority all of this stuff, because there are still guys up there working on the exports. So if we make all this a nice high priority, we get this all done a little bit sooner. Okay, so the kitchen needs a cooker, a fridge, and a sink. So we want a... Let's see, what size is all of these things? The cooker, the fridge... Let's put the fridge there. We'll put the sink just there. And we'll put the cookers there. Then for the canteen, serving table, table, and bench. So the serving table can go there. We'll do a table just... Oh, these are a bit big. These are very big. Okay. I could do one there and there, I suppose. Then do some benches on either side. Now, hopefully this will work. I mean, we can get a few benches in. We can't really put one there because the door's there, so I'll just leave it as is. I guess I could do bench and table. Yeah, that seems to work. Okay. So now we just need to finish the kitchen, and then we have the completed detention center grant, which is fantastic news. So can we get the kitchen finished, please? Oh, hello. No, we need 2 cooks as well. Okay, well, staff, let's go to cook 1 and 2. There we go. $10,000 for the detention center grant. Let's also hook all of this up to the electricity. And that needs to be hooked up directly to the plumbing as well. So let's just run some pipes down to there. And that should be good. All right, so we'll get all that hooked together. I think everything else is plumbed in. We do need to build the 2 offices. We do need to hire a warden. So what we'll do is I will hire a warden in just a moment. Offices need office, desk, chair, and filing cabinet. So we'll do... Let's see. Can I just do these and make them identical? I guess I probably can. Filing cabinet, filing cabinet, filing cabinet, filing cabinet, and filing cabinet. Let's do... I suppose desk, 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 and desk. Then we need the chairs as well. So chair, 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 and chair. So that's going to be a bunch of offices done quite nicely, which will make things excellent. I'm tempted to decorate them a little bit. I think that could be kind of nice. If we go to materials, we could put some wood floors in there. It's a little bit expensive, but yeah, I think I'm going to do it for my offices. Just right off the bat, make them quite nice. And that's the kind of the most decorating I'm going to be doing for the prison for the time being, because that's very expensive. So we can get all of those in. We'll actually go ahead and make that a high priority to get all that finished. I think that did it anyway. Yeah, I think it did. Okay. So that's all getting done nice and quickly. One of the offices is done there. That one actually doesn't have electricity, which is very interesting. Okay. Let's go ahead and run this cable through that bit of wall and make that a high priority as well. There we go. So we can get that done. We now have power in those rooms. Good. Okay, so let's finish the offices so that I can have that bit done. We need to hire a warden who is 200 per day. All right, so we'll hire you, the lobbyist. There you go. Oh, he likes that office. Okay. And then we need to unlock finance through bureaucracy, which is in here, I think? No. Where is bureaucracy? I've completely forgotten how to play this game. It's up here, isn't it? No. Bureaucracy. There we go. So we want to unlock finance. So let's start looking into finance. Micromanagement. What exactly is this? Give you the tools to micromanage aspects of your prison. Unlocks food logistics, which lets me specify which kitchens cook for which canteens and which canteens inmates eat in. Similarly, laundry logistics lets you override which cell blocks are covered by which laundries. Also unlocks the deployment scheduler, which lets you customize your guard deployment at different times of day. And also unlocks the reform program scheduler, letting you manually override the daily schedule of programs. I wouldn't say no to some micromanagement, but I think we'll keep things nice and simple for the time being. There are a lot of things here that I'm not, I'm remembering some of them, not all of them. So, yeah, this will be fine. Deployment would be nice, intelligence and all that, patrols. Patrols are something we absolutely need. I'm actually going to spend a little bit of money to, I think get all of these, except for legal and education. So what's prison policy? Unlocks the policy report, allowing you to increase and decrease the punishments for, oh, that could be nice. Let's actually get micromanagement. We'll go for psychology, maintenance, and health as well. We're not going to bother with legal because it's a bit expensive, but this way we do keep some reasonable money, which is very good news. So we need an office desk, a table, and chair for reception. We can do that. Let's first off get the table, and we'll put a table there as well. We'll put an office desk just, say, there. And we'll put our chair just there. Alright, that seems good to me. So that's going to be a nice reception space. Have they put the paving in there yet? I don't know if they have. Materials. Paving stones. Concrete tiles, I think, is what that actually is. Let's do some concrete tiles and see if that's the correct material for all of this. Then up the priority of that, please, so that I can have it done nice and quickly. Might also want to upgrade the priority of these, too. There we go. Alright, so priority has been increased. Those guys are not putting the paving stones in, which... Ah, yeah, that is exactly what I wanted. Okay, that's fine. I think what I'd also like to do is put some lights out there so I can ever so slightly see what's going on. There we go. So prioritize those two. There we go. That makes the thing look a little bit nicer right there. Okay, so that's our yard. We could actually put some things in the yard, I suppose. We could put in some phone booths, which I'm not completely against. So we'll add some phone booths in there. I think I'll also add some weights benches just down there. Just add 4 of them. Keep things nice and simple. And again, we'll just prioritize those so they get done right away. And then I think I'm going to go back and tell these guys to dismantle a bunch more trees. Because that export money is pretty nice, if I do say so myself. So I'll just dismantle all of those at some point. Okay, so I believe that's everything, isn't it? That is effectively everything. We're 91%, 93% on this. Then we can just hire an accountant. So if we go ahead and get an accountant, we've now done both. So we're now up with money again. Now if we go to reports, that was a light. If we go to reports, we can go to grants and we can do cell block A, which will give us $20,000 in advance. And all I have to do is raise my prisoner capacity to 15. Okay. So this one is unlock maintenance, unlock cleaning, unlock groundskeeping, then hire a foreman, hire at least 2 janitors, and hire a gardener. I think what I'm going to do is take cell block A and take prison maintenance, because those two I can absolutely do. We're already sort of doing this one, so that's fine. Prisoner capacity to 15. Thus far, we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 10. That's doable. That is absolutely doable. What we'll go ahead and do is go to foundations, go to bricks. We'll just extend this. We'll say $5,000 worth of extension there. That's, let's see, 4,910 for extent. Oh, hold on a minute. Get rid of that bit. I said get rid of, hold on, get rid of all of that. Then do this. So 4,400, 4,900. There we go. So we'll get that built, and we'll see what exactly we can do there. We can also go to materials and demolish these walls here. So we can get a lot of prisoners into that space. And it's going to be a nice, relatively open and big space too. It's not really well lit at the moment, but we can fix that in just a little bit. These guys aren't prioritizing it because they want to cut down trees. Let's get that prioritized, please. Okay, so this is... Oh, I don't like how grubby the prison is. I'm not a big fan of the grubby prison look. I'm really not. We are going to have to fix that at some point. Now, does this still need a door? I can't imagine it does. Yeah, there we go. So that is now finished, which is great news. We'll pause things and just... Actually, we don't need to pause things. I keep forgetting. I have that habit with this style of game that you just need to pause all the time. You don't need to, and I quite like that. So let's go ahead and just put all of these walls in, just like so. These are all brick, yes, okay. So we'll do just that, put these bits of wall in as well. Okay. And then we just need to basically do all of this again. So we just run this wall the whole way up to... Actually, maybe we don't want to... Yeah, we'll do the wall. We'll do the wall the whole way up between them. And it should be good. Okay. So, we leave a gap, and then we do a wall. We leave a gap, and then we do a wall. We leave another gap, and we do a wall. And this will absolutely give me a nice amount of space for a bunch of minimum security, but prisoners nonetheless. So we'll do this, and we'll do this, and we'll do that. And then here, I guess we'll get rid of that bit of wall, get rid of that bit of wall, build across there, and then I'd like to bulldoze those bits of foundation. There we go. So that's all going to get done nice and quickly. Let's prioritize all of that and hope for the best, I suppose. So they're putting up some walls whilst the rest of them are taking them down. And it looks like they are... Yeah, I was going to say it looks like they're leaving the gap, but I realized that I told them to do that. Hopefully they'll leave the gap here where I've already planned some doors. I guess I could put the doors in whilst they're doing this. So if I just say door, 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 door. Don't worry, I'm not going to say that word over and over again. I'm just going to say it a million more times. Door, 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 door. That's not a door. That's a door. And door. Okay. Back to materials. Give me brick and do that. Okay. So once again, if we prioritize, we can get all this done nice and quickly. Which will be excellent. So there we go. We can also put the lights in whilst we're here. I'm actually thinking of, I mean, lights are 30 each, but I'm just going to put a massive bunch of them in there. It may look ridiculous, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's the easiest way to do lights for this area, because what I can do is go to utilities, go to electrical, bring this along to there, and then just up through that wall. And that should be enough to power that whole area. So again, if we prioritize that, those guys will get it done nice and quickly. If I go to rooms and I say, make these my cells, and then make these my cells, we now have a bunch of cells. Which is excellent news. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to need to fill out this shower here. So go to objects, go to shower head. Fill out that one like so. Fill out this one. Fill out that one. I've also just noticed we've unlocked maintenance already, which is great, actually. Let me see. What else do we need through bureaucracy? We need cleaning and groundskeeping. Those are a bit expensive, but we'll get them anyway. Cleaning and groundskeeping. Then we need to hire a foreman. And we need to hire at least 2 janitors and a gardener. Now, can we get the foreman already? We can. So we'll get him right off the bat. Those are being researched. Then we need 2 janitors and a gardener. Now, this thing is doing all right. It's going to be... It might struggle a little bit, but I think we'll manage. Let's have a look at my cells. So we need bed and we need toilet. Okay, so these cells aren't going to be all that luxurious. But I think they'll be okay. So we'll do all of our cells just along here. Can I just... Yeah, I can actually just drag that, which is really nice. So just drag that the whole way down there. And that's a whole bunch of beds. Oh, that one didn't get one. All right. So all the beds go in. Then we just add the toilets there, near the bed. Obviously, later down the line, we can make some luxurious-looking cells, but for the time being, we're not going to bother. So get all of those in, and then we have a whole bunch of cells, which will be excellent. So let's once again prioritize all that stuff. And hopefully make a very nice looking prison. Also, what I'm thinking is once we've got all this done, I might look into decorating these hallways a little bit. And then I think we'll leave it there for this first episode. We're not going to bother bringing anyone in just yet. We're also probably going to want some more guards than we currently have. But I think we'll be okay. Also 0 of 5 prisoners. How many prisoners can we have in total, I wonder? Oh, I forgot I need to plumb all of those in. Okay, so in that case, let me run this pipe through here. Then also up that central wall. Then do some pipes just across, back and forth like this. A little bit expensive. Not that one. To there, and then you as well. And plumb all of these in too. Oh, just completed a grant. Don't mind if I do. That was $20,000 for that grant as well. That's nice. Okay, so those are all in. We now have a capacity of 20. I mean, I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. We doubled it there. We had 10 cells. We now have 20. This is quite a nice area as well. I do quite like it. I'm tempted to add in a bit of wall there, though, so I can put some gates at either end. But I don't think we necessarily need it. I really don't. These guys are going to be minimum security anyway, so I really don't think we need it. Now, let me have a look. Concrete floor, mosaic floor, marble tiles, white tiles. I think we'll add... Oh, that zoomed in. Oh, Q&E zoom in. Forgot about that. Let's add some white tiles to the shower. Let's add some white tiles to the kitchen. I want to add some mosaic floor to the canteen. And then for the prison cells themselves, I think ceramic floor is actually quite expensive. Mosaic is quite cheap. Let's see. Stone is outdoor only. Concrete tiles, maybe not. Metal floor is not actually that expensive. Let's see. White tiles are quite cheap. I think we'll do white tiles. My throat's apparently going. Let's see. Maybe not white tile. I'm thinking something would be something like white tiles. We could. Let's do fancy tiles right here for all of the corridors. So that it seems like a really nice area, but it maybe won't be. So fancy tiles for all of that. I think we'll do fancy tiles in the doorways there as well. Okay. We'll do fancy tiles for the reception too. Just like so. And in that space too. Then, I guess around here as well, we can do some. Maybe not there though. Bring them across. Bring them through to there. Okay. Did I miss anyone? I don't think I did. The doorways of the cells can have them too. These are maybe going to look a little bit... This is going to look like a little bit much by the time I'm done with this, but we're going to have to just deal with that. Then I think I will splurge on some ceramic floor for the cells, even if it is a bit expensive. There we go. So that may end up looking terrible, but we'll find out. Let's go ahead and prioritize all of that stuff so that those guys stop working on the trees. And get all of my beautiful floors in here. You know what? I don't think they will look... No, those don't look so bad, actually. They look like the floors of prison cells, and that's kind of what we were going for, so that's nice. Okay, let's get all of that done, and then we can see where exactly we are for this episode. Okay, I would say my prison's looking pretty good. It is a bit of a weird shape, but we can hold 20 prisoners. They can only get in here and down here as well, but that's actually quite secure because there is no way through to this area down here through this actual main section of the prison. It might make sense to add that door in there or add a door in there so that we can get through, but I really don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. I would, however, like to add 2 more guards to my prison, just because I feel like that's a good idea. We also need 2 janitors, which we can hire, so 1 and 2, and a gardener as well, which lets the prison maintenance thing be done. So good. That's very good. We can now clean the prison as well because it is absolutely filthy. We can also look at getting 2 more grants, which I'm thinking build a medical ward, 2 doctors, and hire a psychologist. That one's actually going to be quite easy, so we'll take that. And this one is assign 3 prisoners to work in. No, I don't want to put prisoners to work yet. This is hire a security chief, hire 10 guards, get patrols, and get... You know what? I'll take that one as well. We are absolutely going to be doing those at some point, so we have those to look forward to. Okay, so my gardener's out there doing his thing. I'll tell you what I actually like to do. I would actually like to turn my deliveries area into, it is already sand. I could turn it into dirt, although part of it is already dirt. I think I'm actually going to turn it into grass, just because I can. Same with garbage. I think it just looked nice. So let's go ahead and just prioritize that, I suppose. We'll prioritize whatever the gardener's doing there as well. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. It's simple. It's silly as well. But I think it looks nice. We'll do the same with the yard as well. We'll just make it grass. We don't have to be a terrible prison. We're going to be quite pleasant, actually. So we'll go ahead and get the grass in there. There we go. Looks absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to leave it there for today. We've managed to plan the prison. We've managed to build the prison. Next episode, we actually have to fill the prison and manage the prison. So, with that in mind, thank you kind of for watching. If you liked the video, like the video. If you disliked it, dislike it. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.